Hey guys! Today I'm going to show you how to make these crochet earrings. I made these a few years ago and I love them so much. They're really pretty statement pieces that can be both elegant and artsy. And as you can see, you can make them in any color and combination. Here's how they look on. They're super lightweight so they don't pull on your ears, and I always get compliments when I wear them out. Also, they don't take long to make, and even if you're new to crochet, you can absolutely do this. It's literally just a little crochet ball like this. Okie dokie, so in this video, we'll go over what you need, how to crochet the ball, how to make the tassel, and how to assemble it using the jewelry hardware. Also, if you like crochet, fiber art content, and a lot of funny shorts, subscribe and hit that like button. Let's start with the materials you'll need to make a pair of earrings. Starting with the crochet ball, you'll need yarn. I suggest cotton, and I personally use Hobie's Rainbow 8/6. And you'll need less than 1 skein for your preferred color. Next, you'll need a 2.25mm crochet hook, a darning needle, scissors, a small handful of fiber fill, and tweezers. That's everything you need to make the ball. For the tassel, you'll need 1 spool of Hobby Lobby's Sewology metallic 40 thread in the color of your choosing, scissors, a 4" by 4" cardboard square to wrap your thread around, 1 needle, a comb, then you'll need a little plastic or paper tube like this. I use this to hold the tassel as I tie it together, and the one I use most often is a wrapper from DMC embroidery floss. You can also make your own and roll up a tiny piece of paper. Lastly, for the tassel, I suggest using a steamer. Once you've made your tassel, steaming it helps it lay flat, but this is optional and not a must-have. Now for your jewelry hardware. You'll need 2 fishhook ear wires, 2 10mm jump rings, 2 1" eye pins, wire looping pliers, and needle nose pliers. Note, I use 18-karat gold-plated hardware. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's great if you're allergic to metals like nickel. And one more note before we go. If you've been following my page, you probably know I've been battling nerve pain in my hand. So because of that, for the crochet part of the tutorial, I'm going to be using a larger acrylic yarn and a larger hook size to spare my hands. I still suggest you viewers using the lighter cotton and the 2.25mm hook. It'll create a more clean looking and durable ball, but I'll be showing how to do it on the larger yarn. Now let's officially jump in. We'll start by crocheting the ball. First, make a slip knot and attach it to your hook. Then for round 1, make a magic circle with 6 single crochet. Or you can do it the way I do it, which is start by chaining 2, and then add 6 single crochet into the first chain. Now you should have 6 single crochet in the ring, and you can count to make sure. For round 2, make a single crochet increase in each stitch. Now you should have a total of 12 single crochets. For round 3, make a single crochet followed by an increase 6 times. At the end of this row, you should have 18 single crochets. For rounds 4 through 6, you can single crochet in each stitch around. That's 3 rows of 18 single crochets. And I'll meet you back here at the end of row 6. Now that that's done, you should have 6 rows like this. And we can start closing the ball. On round 7, make a single crochet followed by a decrease 6 times. At the end of this round, you should be back to 12 single crochets around. Next, you can pull the tail, making sure it's tight, then cut it and hide it in the ball. Now it's time to stuff it with fiberfill. You don't want to stuff it to where you can see the stuffing peeking through the stitches, but you definitely want to stuff it to where it's firm. You can take your time really compacting it in until you have a little sticking out like this. Then you can continue closing the ball. For our last round, round 8, decrease 6 times around. Before we close, take a second to make sure it's stuffed enough and firm. As you can see, mine is still loose and you want the shape to bounce back like this. So don't be afraid to add more fiberfill at this time. Next, to close, cut a pretty long tail like this. Pull the tail through and attach your darning needle. Now, working in the front loops only of our last row, Start weaving your thread to fasten off the ball like this. Weave through all 6 stitches in your last row, and your last weave should come up, just like this. Pull the tail as tight as you can to close, and then we'll tie a knot. I prefer to tie my knot here. So now we're left with this little knot sticking above. We need to get it inside the ball. So put your needle into the middle of the closing hole and thread it out the side. As you pull, this will bring the knot into the middle of the ball, just like that. As you can see, I left the tail sticking out of the side. I will leave that until the very end because when I'm attaching the jewelry pieces, it helps reshape the ball as needed. Lastly, we're going to take our tweezers and we'll use it to start cleaning the little fiberfill strands that come out of the ball. This part really isn't necessary, it's just the best way I found to get the cleanest looking earring in the end. And that's it, you're done! So rewind this video, make one more ball, and I'll meet you back here when it's time to make the tassel. Okay, let's make the tassels for the earrings next. Start by taking your thread and cutting 2 strands. One is 12 inches long and the other is 20 inches long, and you can put them to the side. Next, take your thread and your 4" by 4" board and wrap your thread around it like this. Keep wrapping for a total of 60 times. When you reach 60 wraps around, cut the thread. Next, we're going to carefully slide it off the board. To help the strands stay in place, let them twist naturally like this. And there you have the main body of your tassel. So now that our main strands of the tassel have naturally twisted like this, we can tie it together. Take the 12-inch strand that you had and put it under the main strands, and we'll tie a double knot in the middle. Here's the first knot. And the double knot. Next, get your plastic tube. And then fold the strands in half and stick them through the tube middle knot first. Push it through until the end sticks out like this. For this next step, grab the 20-inch strand. Measure one end so it's a bit longer than the current tassel. Fold that end around to form a tiny loop. Hold the loop in place with your thumb at the top of the tube like this. Make sure the shorter tail is out of the way, and now we're going to wrap the longer end around the tip of the tassel about 20 times. When you're done wrapping the tip, locate the loop you were holding under your thumb. Take the end of the strand you were wrapping with and stick it through the loop and pull. We're going to make a knot to secure this section, so to do that, pull the top tail until you feel the knot go under the wraps we just made at the tip. After that, remove the tube and this is what it should look like. Now we need to hide this strand coming out of the top, so attach it to your needle. Thread it across the top of the tassel. And then out through the bottom. To trim the tassel, put the plastic tube back on as a guide for our scissors. I prefer to have it push down past the wrapped tip section here. I found that making them 4 centimeters long works the best for earrings. Take the scissors and trim them along the edge of the tube, getting as straight of a cut as possible. Now you can take a second to comb them out. And if you want, you can opt for the optional step of steaming them. I found this helps the tassels lay flatter and keep their shape longer, but it isn't a necessary step. Also, while you steam them, don't hold them in the steam for an extended period or the thread might start to unravel. One more tip. To help them keep their shape, I suggest storing them in the plastic or paper tubes until it's time to assemble. We are finally at the last step, assembly. Now let's go over everything you'll need one more time. Your 2 crochet balls, your 2 tassels, 2 fishhook ear wires, 2 1-inch eye pins, and 2 10mm jump rings. You'll also need needle nose pliers, wire looping pliers, a darning needle, a normal needle, tweezers, and scissors. Start by taking one of your tassels, and we need to make the hole in the middle of the tip big enough for a jump ring. Take your needle and gently thread it through the middle, making the gap. Take a second to repeat this a few times. Now take one jump ring and open it using the needle nose pliers. Don't open it too wide, just a little like this. Slowly pass the ring through the tassel, making sure not to snag on any strands. Once it's through, it should look like this, and you can put it to the side. Now, grab one of your eye pins and your wire looping pliers. We're going to create a loop on the straight side of the pin. So using the pliers, wrap the pin into a loop and try to get the circle as close as possible to the other side. You might have to work at it for a bit. In a second, we are going to pass that eye pin through the center of the ball. The best way I found to do this is to create an opening using a darning needle. Take your needle and pass it through the ball, going in the top and out the bottom. And after that, you can see a slight opening at both ends. Grab your eye pin and slowly guide it through the ball so both end loops are sticking out like this. We'll be working with the loop coming out of the bottom of the ball first. So to secure the top loop and make sure it doesn't fall back into the ball, run one of your ear wires through it to anchor it. Next, grab your tassel and jump ring and slide it on the bottom loop. Then close the jump ring. Try to get the close as possible, and there you go! The tassel is attached to your earring. Next, we'll attach the fishhook ear wire. Push on the bottom of the ball until you see the top loop better. Then, just slip on the ear wire. Lastly, we're going to shape the earring by pulling on the yarn tail. Use this time to make sure it looks good and even. When it's to your liking, cut the tail. And voila, one earring is done. Repeat this part of the video, and there, you have yourself a set of crochet earrings. If you see any fiber strands on the earring, you can go ahead and remove them using the tweezers. And now they're ready to wear. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and let me know if the process of making the tassels was clear enough. I realized as I was editing it might be hard to follow given how thin and shiny the thread was, so if you have any trouble, leave a comment and I'll be there to help. I might make a companion video showing how to do the tassel in DMC Floss so you guys can see better. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you liked it, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more crochet, knit, and crafting tutorials like this one. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!